Hey guys, how are you? Oro anyu? Kabari zenu, guten Tag, como estas, konnichiwa, no other greetings. And today, I want to talk about something that's happening. It's actually, I feel like there's an increase. It might just be what we see online compared to reality, but I have seen an upsurge of woke Black Americans moving to Africa, especially Kenya.
Pros and cons of living in Kenya. Let's go. Number one pro is that you look around and everybody looks like you, so everything just feels a little more comfortable. You feel me? You don't have the same problems that you have in other places. Number two, you could go outside, usually anywhere, and find everything you need at the markets. And y'all, I mean everything. They don't tax. It's much better than like the public stores, and you'll just make more friends like that. Everyone is so much more friendly in the markets. They'll even give you discounts, give you extra stuff. So check out the markets. Also, it's very safe around here. I'll say that Kenya feels very safe. The atmosphere is very safe.
Which is again very interesting, because if you know about the transatlantic slave trade, you would know that their roots are in West Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, that area, but they seem to be moving to East Africa for one reason or another. If you're new around here, thank you for clicking on my video. I hope you're gonna stick around and learn a little some and subscribe. If you are returning Sabi, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. For those who do not know, I am a Kenyan American, hence the flags back there, and these guys, okay, representing. I was born and raised in Kenya, moved to America 12 years ago, and I have the best of both worlds, if you will. I have a very interesting viewpoint about life and about things, about policies from social to economic or to political, because of my background as a Kenyan. So, and I have interacted majorly with, again, woke dark-skinned Americans. For all intents and purposes, we're going to stick to black and white, but that's not what I prefer to call people. And most of the time I've interacted with woke Black Americans, there's a very distinct difference between them and their conservative counterparts who grew up in the same country. The woke Black Americans have a tendency to have this victim mindset. They believe the whole world is against them. They have a chip on their shoulder about racism. They think everything is racist and everything that happens is racist, and police pull you over for being black and you're profiled for being black. This is 2025 and they still think this way, which is insane. But I came to realize it starts in their childhood. It's how they're raised. It's embedded in their system. Whenever I meet a conservative chocolate American, I'm very impressed because I know that they had to fight against that mentality and overcome it. And I know it's not easy. So big ups to y'all. Big ups to my conservative counterparts. I love you guys. But let's see about why these woke, liberal Black Americans are moving to Kenya. Very interesting reasons, I think. So I have seen this woman on several channels now, several Kenyan YouTube channels that I love to watch. She's tending to piss me off because she's spreading this whole propaganda about how I moved to Kenya to escape racism in America because America is so racist. And, I feel at home here, which it's okay, you can feel at home, but don't say it's because you're escaping racism. Stop the bullcrap. Anyway, let me not give it away too much. But this is the third. It's a third channel I have seen her on. And it's the same story, the same bullcrap. And what's pissing me off is that it's like an echo chamber. I would love to go to these studios and get interviewed. Same interview. Because my perspective would absolutely blow Kenyan minds. I have been on a few podcasts in Kenya. And I will probably go to a few more next year when you go home, inshallah. But I hate this victim mindset. I cannot stand it. As someone coming from a third world country, and I've seen what people are capable of, and that all they want is an opportunity. And I've seen them thrive. Myself included, but I'm talking about, people who have lesser means. So to see someone who grew up in a country where they have free education, and by free I mean tax funded, obviously, and you have the audacity to say you are struggling, please shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, please, kindly. The amount of people who drop out of school in Kenya because they can't afford their school fees and end up in crime, because what else are you going to do in a country where education is really important? That's what sets you up, and you cannot afford to finish your education, and I see you sitting here on podcasts screaming about America being racist. Shut up. Anyway, you can tell I get really riled up about this. Let's see her story.
People think of enslaved Africans being a fairy tale fiction type of experience, but it's very traumatic. It's passed on through
God, here we go about the generational trauma. Wait.
your DNA.
Okay. So, you remember, you guys are touched on the victim mindset. Remember? So these guys claim, this is not the first time I've heard this rhetoric. They claim that the generational trauma of their ancestors who are carried on slave ships lives inside their bones. Inside their DNA, like a molecule. It's a molecule of trauma and slavery that lives in there. So you're born with it. Please spare me. And this is what leads them to not be successful in America and have a chip on their shoulder, because they have a DNA molecule of trauma from 400 years ago.
There are moments in where they would literally breed.
Literally makes it more true. The use of the word literally.
Enslaved Africans with mothers and daughters and sons and
that was the freaking slavery days. And you know who did that? The Democrats. Your Democrats were the ones who were breeding their slaves. Yes, there was no party switch. Yeah, those are the Southern Dixiecrats that moved up north. They were the ones refusing to let go of their amazing slaves. Same way the Democrats are refusing to let go of illegals right now. Who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to do this? Who's going to pick our tomatoes and our strawberries? I know this calls for a deeper dive into this conversation, but I'm going to tell you this right now. These same people who complain about their ancestors being slaves are the same people who keep voting Democrat. They're the people who keep perpetuating the racism in this country because they want to be seen as black. They want to be seen as special. They want to be given reparations. For what? I don't see the Irish people asking for reparations. Their victimhood is insane. It's so ingrained. I don't think they realize how ingrained it is in their system. They complain about systemic racism. I have a very small clip of her right now. I just want to give you guys a small taste of who she is. And yeah. They complain about systemic racism, and yet immigrants like myself come to this country. Legal immigrants. Dark-skinned legal immigrants come to this country, and we do pretty decently for ourselves. I'm not saying we are millionaires. Not yet. But we get jobs. So what is the difference? If the system is racist because it's based on our color, quote unquote, why are we doing okay? Because it's a victim mindset.
Husbands and tear their bodies apart, take babies out of pregnant women's stomachs and feed them to alligators. And
yes, again, this was 400 years ago. You, ma'am, have not gone through this process. You, ma'am, have not undergone any amount of trauma. Your ancestors were such strong people to be going through all that. Okay, you did not. You don't get to claim their pain. Shame on you for trying to virtue signal using and exploiting their pain to make yourself a victim. My ancestors. This girl comes from a former British colony. Do you hear me complaining about colonization and colonization this and colonization that and calling people colonizers? No, because I'm not dumb. That's why. If I really wanted to go and stomp on people, I would go to their graves because obviously they're already dead. The guys who colonized Kenya, they're already dead. I can go stomp on their graves, I guess. That's as much as I can do. And I can honor the heroes that died to free our country from Britain. But I'm not going to say, take their legacy. Build your own legacy.
Florida. So the history is very traumatic. I fear for my son, and he can be stopped at any moment because of the car he drives.
Oh boy. Oh, here we go. I told you all. Do you see? If you've not watched my white saviors, my voice saviors at the bane of my existence video, go watch it. I'm gonna leave it somewhere here. Do you hear the same rhetoric? Driving while black. I'm afraid for my black son. My black son might be stopped by the cops. God forbid he's stopped by the cops. He might get George Floyded. The victimhood is trained, the victimhood is grooming, the victimhood starts at a young age. These people have taught their children to be afraid of the police. When you see the police, start recording. Don't move. Do not obey. Do not comply. And somehow it's supposed to go really well for them. This is, by the way, a blind response to this particular video. I did not listen to it. I just screen recorded and I saved it because I wanted to get a raw reaction. But the small clips of how I've seen in the little shorts being advertised, I was just like, oh, here we go. This makes a lot of sense now.
Moment because of the car he drive and shot and killed.
Oh my God.
That's a reality. Just because he's black, I have
It's not a reality.
to have conversation with my son. Son, be careful. Know where you're at. If you get stopped, put your hands up, son.
Either way, you should be putting... Okay. Okay. As a registered gun owner of Florida, part of my gun training outside of safety was how to behave at a traffic stop. Okay? You're supposed to put your hands at 8 and 2 on the wheel and then let him just tell you what to roll the window down, wait for him to give you instructions. And I very clearly said, officer, just letting you know there's a little pew-pew in there. Okay? So if you want me to grab the purse or you want to grab the purse, you let me know what you want to do. He's like, give it to me. I was like, oh, here you go. And he got my wallet and got my driver's license from said wallet. Inside the pew-pew. Inside the purse, I had the pew-pew. Okay. It went very well. We were laughing by the end of the whole thing. Because one, I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I'm not afraid of the cops. I'm actually really, really into the cops in America. Because the cops in America don't have this power drunkenness Kenyan cops have. That's just one example of the kind of people moving to Africa and Kenya claiming they're running away from racism in America because, oh my God, America is so racist, even if there was a black president for 2 terms. Even if there are people like Beyonce and Lizzo making billions and billions of dollars. So racist, right? So I was curious as to why black liberals are moving to Kenya, or black Americans. And as you can guess, one of them is going to be feeling close to their ancestral roots, which again still begs the question, why not West Africa? If you're looking for your ancestral roots, I promise you they're not in Kenya. They're in West Africa. Don't get me wrong. I am not saying don't move to Kenya, but be honest about your intentions. You know, you can say you're moving for economical reasons. Absolutely makes sense. Although even now, with inflation the way it is, moving to Kenya without a plan and a lot of capital to hold you up and start a business which is going to sustain you is a very bad idea.
And I'm going to tell you guys how I went broke in Nairobi, Kenya. I came out there with 5,000 USD and my plan was to make that last. And I literally blew that money within 60 days. 60 days of my 90-day stay, I blew that money. That money was gone. And I had to dip into money that I personally didn't.
Things are expensive across the board, not just in America. Obviously, it's cheaper by comparison, but you still need to be really, really careful. So if you can say you want to move for economical reasons, absolutely makes sense. You want to move for cultural reasons. You want to experience a different culture. You want to be around a tribal area and see how life is there. Absolutely do that. But don't claim it's because of racism. Don't claim it's because that I'm so afraid for my son. What? Also, what are you teaching your kids to run away from their problems? Which, they created the problems. They're self-inflicted problems, but still. This is why I tell you guys, every time I encounter a video like this, or I see a video of a younger child, like this kid is doomed. He's doomed already and he's not even 10 yet.
I'm gonna break this up. 10. Open this fucking door. I'll call my mom. Call my mom. Bitch, I been knew how to count, ho. Show 4 out of there. Dad do that.
You can open the door.
Bitch, my mom say I'm gonna open up this door because I'm not doing all my fucking nose. Y'all better open it. I'm not playing.
You know how to count. You have hands. Open the door.
I'll open up this door before we break this bitch.
Break it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna break some.
Taught how to victimize themselves, weaponize their skin tone, cry victim, and then hate the system and hate white people because white people are the problem. White people are why America is the way it is. And they keep perpetuating this racism. These people, the same people running away. It's crazy. Editing Kenyan Hippie here, and I wanted to add a note. When you hear people running away from racism in America and running to countries like Kenya or Uganda or wherever in West African countries, these same people complaining about racism come from majority Black population states where dark-skinned people are the actual majority of the state. They are the ones voting these Democrat policies that turn their cities and states into criminal neighborhoods full of homelessness. These Democrat policies that destroy the country, that destroy the cities, that destroy the schools. They are the same people who vote in the same Democrat policies that decriminalize certain things like theft. And where law enforcement has to be high because of the high crime that they voted in. I think that there could be an exchange program of sorts where all the oppressed Americans can be sent to Africa, and we can bring all the non-oppressed Africans over here. And once, if you feel you're oppressed in America, you should definitely renounce your citizenship so you can allow for someone else to come who's going to appreciate this country for what it is and what it has to offer. A sense of belonging and cultural identity. Now, I disagree here because just because we are Black doesn't mean we are the same, right? Just because we look kind of the same skin tone doesn't mean we have anything in common. So I don't get this whole sense of belonging. Belonging where? People there have a different culture. They speak a different language. Yes, they speak English too, because English and Kiswahili are our official languages. But they are very different culturally from you. You were raised in America. You are raised in Kenya. Unless you're willing to assimilate into the culture, you're not going to have a sense of belonging just because you're around people who look like you.
A lot of us come over here and we're very arrogant. You do have Black Americans who absolutely believe that they're better than the local Kenyans, which is absolutely ridiculous. I'm here to save Kenya because we ain't here to... Kenya don't need saving. Kenya don't need saving, which is why we come here.
That's right.
Most Kenyans look at us as the children of slaves from a derogatory point of view. So we're already coming into the situation with some kind of resentment already there. For the majority of us, we want to get away from racism. We want to get away from bigotry. We want to get away from the system of white supremacy. We want to feel like we can blend, and that's how you feel when you're here, especially in Kenya. And we want a sense of ownership, if that is an option for us. Real ownership, real generational wealth in a place where we're not judged, but we're welcome.
The lifestyle and values, I can see why that would pull people to Kenya. I can see why that would pull people to Kenya. So obviously, and I've gone over this, check out my cultural shock video. In Kenya, we have a very strong sense of community. Yes, we are very diverse. We have over 42 tribes, very ethnically, religiously diverse. But one thing we do have in common is a sense of community. Community is really, really vital in Africa and most African nations. Your neighbors are going to be your friends. And even if you're not friendly with them, they'll still look out for you. You don't have to pay someone to check on your child if you need to go to the grocery store for a quick hour and come back. They'll want to do it for you because it's expected. It's your child is our child. It takes a village to raise a child. I absolutely see that appeal. And I agree with it. I miss that.
The lifestyle, plain and simple. Like, I'm able to create a lifestyle here for my children, for my family, my husband. Like, we all can work on our craft, our passions, and be able to pursue certain things that we weren't able to in the States. We had to continue that rat race. We had to continue keeping up with the Joneses. Here, we're keeping up with ourselves.
Things are very different. The systems are very different. Kenya is very corrupt. It is unfortunate. I don't even know how we would begin to fix that issue, but at almost every level of government is a corrupt official. So if you want to get your stuff getting done faster, not even faster really, at a normal time, you have to grease some palms. You have to toa kitu kidogo. Nchi ya kitu kidogo. You have to bribe someone. You bribe someone who bribes someone who bribes. There's a lot of nepotism still, a lot of favoritism based on tribe. Kiswahili, again, is our national and official language. So if you don't really understand the language, you're going to have a hard time if you're not willing to learn. Because even the Kenyans who speak English will speak Swanglish. So we'll have a lot of Kiswahili sprinkled into the conversation.
A problem. Okay, I've seen people say, oh, the reason why I can't even come back to Africa is because they don't understand English. My dear, this is 2024. A lot of people speak English, okay, in Kenya. Yes, there are countries that language might be a barrier, but in Kenya, trust me, is not really a barrier. So Kenya actually has two official languages, okay. One is English and the other one is Swahili, okay. So nobody is mandating you to learn Swahili, but if you're going to stay there for a long time, then you want to learn Swahili and also get acclimatized with the environment and the people, you know, interacting with people in the local areas with English might actually be hard. So learning Swahili will help you too. Especially if you're someone who loves to mingle with the locals, then learning a little bit of Swahili shouldn't be a problem.
And that obviously is going to be a challenge for you. Again, you have to be very open-minded if you're going to move to Africa, any African country really. But Kenya, I've heard people are really preferring it for a lot of reasons, especially the economy and the culture. Remember that Kenya is very traditional as well. I'm not saying we don't have a metropolitan mindset, and I hate that that's happening right now, but the woke virus is spreading to Kenya, and I hate to say that, but it's true. Feminism is taking root. Ugh. Oh my God, please, Jesus, please no. Please, God, no. But at the same time, our society is always going to be pretty conservative. With this liberal mindset and trying to assimilate into the culture there, you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to relearn certain things, certain societal expectations. Gender roles are very different in Kenya. Now with the millennials, they're changing that a little bit. Gen Z is definitely their own breed. Wouldn't do that another time. In general, just like any other country, you need to learn the culture. You have to learn to assimilate into the culture. Don't try to bring your preconceived notions, your arrogance, your expectations. Learn and then just go from there. I will say that I'm actually pretty impressed seeing these videos because for the longest time, and again, these people who complain about America, you guys who've been following me for a while have watched me say, then leave, right? Tom McDonald, another immigrant, says, if you don't like it, leave. You know, if my stars and stripes offend you, now help you pack your bags. So the fact that these people actually packed their bags and actually left is pretty impressive, in my opinion, because they did it. You know, it's not just lip service. They actually left. So they may be running away, cowardly, and thinking their victim mentality is going to resolve. Because what are you teaching your child? I've empowered my kids, and I hate using the word empowered, but there's a context. I'm empowering my children to be proud Americans. I'm empowering them to be proud Kenyans too, but as long as they live in America, this is your country, love your country. You can hate the government and love your country. The police are there to protect you. Yes, there are some crooked apples in the bunch, but fight it out in court. Do whatever you're supposed to do at a traffic stop. Don't be afraid of them. The police will always give you the energy you give them. They return the energy you give them. You give them arrogance, they return arrogance. You act guilty, then they act like you're guilty. You're nice to them, they're nice to you. That's always been our experience in life in general. So I don't know if she's talked to her son about how to act around Kenyan police, but she's gonna need help with that one. Actually, once they hear your accent, you know you're not from around there, oh, you're American, now give us some money. She's gonna learn the hard way. So as much as, like, again, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. I'm impressed by the fact that these people are making the move, right? They're making the move to Kenya instead of just, I'm gonna leave. I wish them the best. But this aspect of trying to scare Kenyans into coming to the States, I don't appreciate that.
Yo, have you noticed a lot of black people are moving to the continent? And I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that people are realizing, especially in America, that we have other options. What's funny is that a lot of my friends from Africa want to move to the States. They're like, oh my God, I wish I lived in America. Why would you want to move here? But with inflation and all the things that we're dealing with in the States, I think slowly but surely people are realizing that it's not really the dream that they marketed to be.
Because I'm imagining a Kenyan watching this video and going, oh my God, America is racist. Why are so many Kenyans trying to come here then? Why are there so many Kenyans living here and working here and then retiring and moving back home? You know, that mentality and pushing that victim mentality is what really pisses me off. And like I said, I would love to go on one of these podcasts and counteract everything she's saying as someone who's Kenyan and American. But would they really invite me to these podcasts though? Would they? Kind of ruin the vibes of the victimhood, would I just think I hate echo chambers, you guys. There's a lady who, she moved to I don't know what country in Africa, and she cried about it. She cried about not having snacks, there were too many bugs, and it was hilarious to watch.
We came out here to build Africa. I closed all my businesses down. And of course, I could have stayed in that colonized United States of America and dealt with their bullshit. And I'm very in tune. I'm very in tune with the universe. I'm very in tune with my ancestors. I heard the calling and I came. I talk to my ancestors every day, but that don't mean I don't go through shit. Ain't no angels and no flying butterflies and rainbows around here. We all go through shit. At the end of the day, I don't like the circumstances that we're in. It's not that I can't help it. I have money. I can move, go wherever the I want to go. And it wasn't that I was complaining about the fact that I was paying $100 a month. A day. I was complaining because it doesn't make no sense that the prices are so outrageous out here when you living in conditions like this. So let's be honest and let's keep it real. Nobody wants to live like this. They shouldn't even be living like this. I want to take half of Africa back to America because you can see how real living is. Because this shit is pathetic. So at the end of the day, for everybody who say I was complaining, I wasn't complaining. I was telling them.
A few moments later.
I'd rather go back to America and deal with the racism in America before I sit here in Africa and deal with the bullshit bribery, the bullshit fraud, the bullshit scams, the bullshit too expensive, the bullshit not having no snacks, the bullshit not having no food, the bullshit electricity, the bullshit hot water, the bullshit, what's that shit called that be coming down? Bullshit lizards. The bullshit animals, it's scorpions outside the house, it's big ass spiders, it's big ass lizards, colorful lizards you ain't never seen before, all in the fucking room with you.
I was like, Gani, just come back home. Just come back to America where you're used to life here. You're a spoiled person. Just come back. You're used to AC and not going through potholes and not dealing with crooked cops. Just come back. It's okay. And all the junk food, you can have all the junk food you want because the junk food even in Kenya is actually healthier. It's deep fried. Anything deep fried we call junk food. So it's just a very funny perspective of both worlds for me, especially. But when I'm watching these people, your worldview really does shape the way you are as a person. And when I see someone complaining about how America was so racist they had to run away, it's like, come on, girl. Come on now. Also, fair warning, y'all. We don't have welfare in Kenya. Do that with as you shall. If you get triggered, bite me. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know if you'd consider moving to Kenya or any other African country permanently and what your reasons would be. I would love to hear your experience. If you have moved and you've had a swimmingly good experience, what have you noticed in terms of differences, cultural differences, economical differences, assimilation? How has that been? I'm very curious to know. Let me know, guys, if you enjoyed this video. I appreciate y'all so much. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I will see you guys in the next one. Kenyan Hippie out.